Tesla's full self-driving system just caused someone to die, and now the company has settled the lawsuit. Here's what makes this moment so critical. Settlements don't happen by accident. They happen when a court concludes that a company knew its technology wasn't safe, let people use it anyway, and someone paid the ultimate price. That's exactly what happened here. When you hear autonomous vehicles, you imagine a future where computers drive better than humans. But Tesla's full self-driving has been involved in dozens of crashes, many fatal, because it fails at situations any competent driver would handle instantly. Pedestrians, parked cars, traffic lights it misinterprets. These aren't edge cases or theoretical problems, they are regular occurrences that full self-driving simply can't navigate. This settlement is a legal admission. It's a court saying, Tesla, you knew this wasn't ready. You activated it anyway. Someone died because of your choices. Now you'll compensate their family. The settlement amount matters less than what it signals, official documentation that Tesla's autonomy claims don't match reality. But here's what the news cycle won't tell you. This one settlement is going to reshape the entire industry. Every company working on self-driving technology, Waymo, Cruise, traditional automakers, everyone is doing the math right now. If Tesla pays settlements when someone dies in a full self-driving crash, what's our liability exposure? What's the legal threshold we are crossing? This case just changed how autonomous vehicles get regulated and sold. Let's talk about what actually happened. A Tesla Model 3 with full self-driving activated was driving down a residential street at dusk. The system was supposed to be monitoring the road, making split-second decisions about acceleration, braking, and steering. But full self-driving isn't truly autonomous. It still requires a driver paying attention and ready to take over at any moment. What the lawsuit proved is that full self-driving failed in exactly the moment it mattered most. A pedestrian stepped into the street. The system didn't recognize the danger. It didn't brake. It didn't steer to avoid impact. The human driver, either unable to react in time or not watching closely enough because they trusted the automation, couldn't prevent the collision. The tragedy is that this scenario is completely predictable. Full self-driving struggles with unprotected pedestrians, especially in low-light conditions or when they appear suddenly. Tesla's own testing has documented these limitations, yet the company labeled the feature as autonomous, let customers use it, and waited for incidents instead of fixing the underlying problems first. The lawsuit's core argument was straightforward. Tesla made false claims about what full self-driving could do. They implied it was safer and more capable than it actually is. They didn't adequately warn owners about the system's severe limitations. And when predictable failures happened, including fatal crashes, Tesla downplayed the incidents and continued selling the feature unchanged. This settlement represents the court validating all of those claims. Now let's understand what full self-driving actually does, because that's where the real story emerges. The system uses 8 cameras mounted around the Tesla, front, rear, and sides, that continuously feed video to an AI model running on the car's onboard computer. That AI is trained to recognize roads, lane markings, other vehicles, pedestrians, traffic lights, and hundreds of environmental features. Think of it like teaching a teenager to drive by showing them millions of hours of driving footage. In theory, full self-driving should handle anything those cameras can see. In practice, it can't. The system struggles with scenarios that fall outside its training data: unusual pedestrian movements, unfamiliar road markings, weather conditions like heavy rain, construction zones, parked cars in unusual positions. The AI model gets confused and makes errors that a human driver would never make. Tesla calls it autopilot, suggesting the car can drive itself. They call it full self-driving, implying it's on the path to complete autonomy. But here's the technical reality. It's a very sophisticated cruise control with lane keeping and automatic steering. It's not autonomous. It requires human supervision. It will make fatal mistakes. The settlement proves something crucial about this gap between marketing and reality. Tesla can claim the technology is improving every month through software updates. They can point to millions of miles driven without incident. But none of that matters if the system causes even one fatal crash because it missed something basic, like a pedestrian in the road. This is where the industry's future turns into a legal nightmare. Full self-driving's crash history tells a story that Tesla's defenders always try to minimize. There was the Model 3 that couldn't detect a highway sign and drove directly into it. The Model S that crashed into an overturned truck on the roadway because the system thought the road was clear. A Model X that hit a parked fire truck with such force it damaged the vehicle severely. A Model 3 that drove directly into a pole on an empty street. None of these are one-off glitches affecting a fraction of owners. They are patterns showing that full self-driving has fundamental limitations in obstacle recognition, depth perception, and decision-making. When you activate the feature, you're not engaging a competent autopilot. You're running a very advanced beta test. The pedestrian death that led to this settlement fits perfectly into that pattern. A system that can't reliably detect stationary obstacles absolutely cannot detect a moving human being that appears unpredictably. And yet Tesla left the feature enabled, kept it in beta testing with normal owners, and only when someone died did they face legal consequences. What's infuriating to regulators is that other autonomous vehicle companies have been far more careful. Waymo's autonomous taxi service required years of testing in controlled environments before they carried a single paying passenger. They have human safety drivers backing up the AI. They operate on limited routes in controlled cities. Cruise did something similar before their recent troubles. Let's put Tesla's full self-driving against the actual competition in autonomous vehicles, because that comparison illuminates everything about this settlement. Waymo operates robotaxi services in multiple cities using a completely different approach. Their cars have 9 cameras, powerful LiDAR sensors that see in 3 dimensions, and backup systems for every critical function. Waymo doesn't market this as beta. Waymo doesn't let consumers activate it. Waymo operates as a true autonomous service where the car handles all driving tasks independently. Cruise, before its recent setbacks, was similar. Their self-driving cars were built specifically for autonomous operation from the ground up, with multiple redundant systems ensuring safety. They weren't trying to add autonomy to a regular car through software. They were building cars designed to be autonomous. Tesla's approach is fundamentally different. They're taking a regular car, adding cameras, and then using software to approximate autonomous driving. It's cheaper to develop, it reaches customers faster, and it absolutely generates faster crash data for improving the AI model. But that strategy comes with a massive flaw. The car was never designed for autonomous operation. The safety systems aren't redundant. The sensors aren't as capable. Backup systems don't exist. This settlement proves that approach now has a legal price tag. Not just the lawsuit cost, but ongoing liability. Every time a full self-driving car crashes, especially fatally, Tesla faces potential litigation. This settlement is going to reshape autonomous vehicle regulation globally, and honestly, it's overdue. Right now, the rules around self-driving tech are scattered. Some states regulate it loosely, some don't regulate it at all. The federal government is still figuring out what oversight should look like, but this lawsuit and settlement just gave regulators a roadmap for what they need to do. The case proved that a company can't simply release incomplete autonomous technology and call it finished. Tesla marketed full self-driving as closer to true autonomy than it actually is. They didn't provide adequate warnings. They didn't disable the feature when it failed repeatedly. They just kept letting customers use it. And someone died. That's standard. A company must be honest about its technology's capabilities, must provide appropriate warnings, and must take responsibility when those capabilities fall short. That standard is now established in case law. Other autonomous vehicle companies are watching this very carefully because the implications are massive. Regulators are going to get stricter. Expect new rules requiring companies to fully disclose the failure modes of their autonomous features. Expect requirements for backup safety systems. Expect ongoing testing mandates before new features activate in production vehicles. Expect significant liability insurance requirements that make it expensive to launch unsafe tech. Insurance companies are probably having meetings right now about how to price autonomous vehicle coverage. If a crash happens because the autonomous system failed, who pays? If you own a Tesla with full self-driving, or you're thinking about buying one, here's what this settlement means for you. First and most important, full self-driving is not autonomous. It's a very sophisticated driving aid, similar to cruise control with lane keeping. It requires your full attention. It's not safe to activate it and stop paying attention to the road. It will make mistakes. Some of those mistakes might be fatal. Tesla's marketing makes this confusing. The name full self-driving implies the car can drive itself. It can't. It should be called something like enhanced autopilot with AI steering, but Tesla chose a name that misleads people into thinking it's more capable than it is. This lawsuit confirms that Tesla's marketing overstates the technology's readiness. If you own a Tesla, treat full self-driving as a beta feature. That's what it is. It's experimental technology. Use it in controlled scenarios where you're comfortable intervening instantly if something goes wrong. Don't activate it on busy highways. Don't activate it at dusk or in bad weather when the cameras struggle. Don't activate it in urban areas with unpredictable pedestrian traffic. And if you're thinking about buying a Tesla, factor the legal uncertainty into your decision, especially if you're planning to use full self-driving regularly. Understand that you're exposing yourself to a system the courts have now ruled makes false safety claims. The responsible way to use this feature is to assume it's going to fail sometimes, stay alert constantly, and be ready to take over manually. So here's what this Tesla settlement means for the bigger picture of autonomous vehicles and artificial intelligence. For years, companies have been pushing autonomous tech as faster than regulators could evaluate it. Ship first, deal with safety concerns later. That approach just hit a legal wall. A court officially ruled that Tesla's "we'll fix it with software updates" strategy isn't acceptable when people are dying. This doesn't mean autonomous vehicles are impossible or bad. Waymo's robotaxis work well because they are built for autonomy from the ground up with proper redundancy. But the days of bolting AI driving features onto regular cars and calling it autonomous are ending. The regulatory environment is tightening. The liability exposure is real. Companies cutting corners on safety are going to face settlements, lawsuits, and reputational damage. Tesla will survive this. The settlement is expensive but manageable for a company worth over $1 trillion. But other companies building autonomous features more carefully are now going to face an awkward choice. Do they accelerate their timeline and cut corners to keep up with Tesla, or do they maintain their safety-first approach and accept slower growth? This settlement hopefully makes that calculus easier. Safety first wins because cutting corners costs. The broader story is that artificial intelligence can drive cars, but only when the tech is genuinely ready and honestly marketed. Self-driving works when companies invest in proper sensors, redundant systems, and cautious deployment.